Hello and welcome to A Van Life Thing, my little space on the internet where you're joining me as I'm trying to convert an ex-British gas van into something resembling a camper. Or at least I would be, apart from this error. I seem to have upset something in the van, something about an ESP. So I thought, what better time than to actually do a review on the box that you've probably seen me sort of picking up, putting around and moving, rather than reviewing it. So in this video I'm going to be doing a proper review of the Allpowers R600 battery pack. The reason why I've got this power supply is, as you can see, I'm still working on my van and I'm not quite sure what I want to do with my electrics. I am going to go solar on the roof, but I don't know if I'm going to go lithium, car batteries, whatever. But anyways, I want one of these as a bit of a backup in a spare, just in case. So let's get her unboxed and let me show you the reason why I got her, because it's got many holes of enjoyment. Righty, let's take a look at what's in the box. We have a warranty card. It's quite nice actually. Well, I'll have a look at what's that in a minute, because we don't read manuals on this channel. Ooh, nice man bag with kettle cable, lovely jubbly. Nice protective foam, and the beast itself, the Allpowers R600. There are a few reasons why I've got this, but before we go into that, let's tell you how we get that juice into the beast. You have one AC socket which can do up to 400 watts of charging, meaning if you want to, you can charge that within an hour. It's not advisable to use 400 watts because that will degrade the battery, but let's say you're low on juice, you're out somewhere at a friend's coffee shop, wherever, whenever, you've got the ability, if you want to charge it up in 1 hour. You've also got the option for solar. That can take 200 watts of up to 8 amps. Don't know about the amp thing at all, whatever that is. And that means it's going to charge up in about, well, I've tried it 2 to 2.5 hours, more or less. And then you've got the 12 volt DC. And they don't tell you how long it charges up on the website for at Allpowers. But yes, that is how you get your stuff into the battery. Now let's talk about the many holes of pleasure to get the fun juice out of it. Now there are a few of these on the market, but the reason I went for this one is just how many ports it's got. Let's start with the USB. You've got 2 USB-C ports going at 100 watts. You've got 2 USB-A ports going at 100 watts. You've then got 2 inverters which run at 600 watts that will boost up to 1200. So let's say you've got a drill, grinder or something that's a bit heavy to get going, this will cover it. There is an efficiency loss to be had with these, but we'll cover that in a bit. And on top, wireless charging. I have a similar one of these and nothing makes my heart smile more, well it's quite a lot actually, but ignore that bit. They'd just be able to go plonk and my phone is charging. Inside of this is a lithium PoE4 battery, which is good up to 2000 cycles before it drops to 80%. Whatever that means. But the good thing is about that type of battery, you can drain it all the way down to about 0 and all the way back up, and you're not going to get much degradation. Although don't do it, treat it like a phone battery, drain it down to about 10% and then top it, then take it all the way up to about 90% and you'll be golden. There's also a handy dandy 12 volt, which is for input only. And I also forgot to mention on the top, there's this very handy grab handle. The thing is though, specs are really only half the story. It's about what sort of usage I had out of this in my limited amount of testing. Well, see, I have this half-baked notion of one day becoming a bit of a successful YouTuber, becoming a bit of a digital nomad. So it means taking this out on the road, empowering pretty much all of my vlogging kit, which consists of my MacBook Air, USB-C, tick. Want to charge my iPhone at the same time? Tick. Want to charge my headphones and my microphones at the same time? Tick. And then I've still got space for another camera and another USB-C. Why is this all important? Because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, every single time I've been out, everything's all failed at the same time. So what you end up doing is, I've got like 10-20% in my Mac, but unplug that, plug the phone in, right, the phone's got a little bit of charge, unplug that, put that in, And that's not even accounting that the fact I've got two inverter sockets here. And again, see, look, I've just freed up another port. And that is why I've chosen this over similar ones in the same target category. But let's roll back to my idea of being a digital nomad and have a look at what I can plug in, how much juice it will take when I'm out on the road. Let's start with, if I pop my iPhone on the top, you might not be able to see this on the camera, but that's drawing 2 watts at the moment. That's because it's more than 80% charged, so it's just going to trickle up. My iPhone will hit about 12, 14 watts when it's charging from a fairly low state. Let's add in the DJI headphones, microphones even. And that's going to take it up to 15 watts. And we still have 11 hours remaining in the battery for that. Next up, the vlogging camera. Pop that in. Oosh, we've now jumped up to 31 watts and we have 6 hours remaining still. Next up, one of life's essentials, the AirPods Pro. All right, it's not a life essential, it's a quality of life thing. Do the whole thing where you plug it in one way, then unplug it. Plug that in, wait for the bing. And things have leveled out at about 30 watts. So now, let us plug in my beloved MacBook Air, and it's got about 40% charge in it. And that has now ramped up to about 45, 52, 55. Let's call it an even 52 watts. So the capacity of this battery is now 3 hours. Now I reckon with the best guesstimate, all of this will take about an hour and a half to charge up. Normally I try and double charge everything, but for 50 watts, we're getting 3 hours. When all this is done, I've still got an hour and a half left in the battery. But that's geek stuff. Let's talk about a fridge, food and beer. Righty, we've had a small momentary pause in filming because we had a knock at the door because my Amazon Chinese rice cooker, complete, and I mean complete, with no English instructions whatsoever, has arrived. So we thought, what better time to try and cook some rice following the instructions that I've tried to auto-translate, failed, and then use ChatGPT to get a sense of portions. So it's saying for half a cup of rice, a quarter cup of rice, is that about a quarter? That'll do. 1 cup full of water. In you pop. Is that really a portion? Who for? A midget? Right, pop that on. Generally, have not used this before. Open up the flap. Stick my thing into the flap. Notice, by the way, it's got no red LED on there, so you don't know if it's on or not. In you go. And we're drawing power. We're drawing 8 watts of power. Oh, we've got lights. I mean, do I need to press that for it to go? I don't know, let's give it a go. Oh, hello. Ah, yes. We're now ramping up to 63, 65, 67, 70 watts of power. She's still climbing. We're up to, go on, she's going to hit 80. Is she going to go all the way to 100 watts of power? No, she's levelling out. The excitement is absolutely palpable. Trying to do commentary while watching numbers. This is really like the equivalent of watching paint dry, just watching the voltage go up. We're at 90 watts, 91. Will this madness never end? So I think what we'll do is, we've got 2 hours left on the clock down the bottom here. I'll set a timer, and we're at 83%. Let's come back to the action once the rice is cooked, and hopefully we haven't blown up. Whilst we're waiting to see if my inevitable demise is going to come because of a cheap Amazon rice cooker, let's talk a little bit about solar. As I mentioned earlier on, this will take 200 watts of solar panel. You can buy a 200 watt solar panel. The problem is, you're not going to get 200 watts out of it. For example, this beast here is a 200 watt solar panel and it's pegging heavy. And on the most perfect of conditions, I've got about 170 watts out of it. Now in this scenario, we are pulling 120 watts. Plug that in, I'd be using 120 watts from the sun and 50 watts would be going into there. So it kind of means that use all your high powered stuff during the day when you've got solar, and then at night plug in your laptop, plug in your phones and stuff like that, just to get a bit of a trickle charge off them. Now another feature this has, which I don't think I've seen many times before, is hybrid charging, or hybrid, where you can use a solar panel and electricity at the same time. Why? Don't know. How well does it work? Don't know, but the option is there. Just thought it was worth mentioning. Now just for the sake of it, we've put out my massive 200 watt solar panel just to see how much charge we're getting, and it looks like we're pulling in 43 watts. So we're using about 80 watts, which isn't bad. And I forgot to mention that inside here, there is a fan, which is always on when it's charging. And I've got to say, out of the other models I've had of this, it's fairly whisper quiet. Let's say you're popping back to your van, you want to have a cheeky 40 winks and this is charging up. This isn't going to keep you awake at all. Pretty much a bit like the old ASMR thing that people are into these days. Ah, we've got smoke. The rice cooking is doing something. We don't know what it's going to do. We don't even know if it turns itself off. This could be the end of us. If so, like, share, subscribe. We went down from 83% to 72%, but then we did cheat because we put a little bit of power in. Can I open this up without burning myself? That's step one. Ha! Oh, hello! Let me go and get my high-value Chinese spoon. Let's have a look then, shall I? Let's turn her off. Is that off? No, that's cooking. You know what? That needed a bit longer, that. No. That's not far off, though. 3 more minutes, that would have done. But now, do we put the lid back on and is it intelligent enough to know where it picks up from? Now, let's give it a go. There is a reason why I've got one of these, because I spend a lot of time driving and my own company does me a bit insane. So I was actually driving down the M4, having a good half-hour conversation with ChatGPT about what meals you can cook in this. So I'm thinking, 12 volt solar, 12 volt battery pack, can I cook a meal in that? Well, that's going to be coming up in another video. So let's pop this on again. We'll be back shortly. Now my cameraman goes, look at the state of the fridge. You should be disgusted with that. And all I say to him is, Carl, it's not what's on the outside. It's what's on the inside. Now, full disclosure, what I normally do is when I'm driving, I will I'll plug this into my van, bring it down to temperature, so I'm not sucking all the life out of that during the night time to bring it down to temperature, or bring it to the right temperature. So let's plug it in and see how we do. Like I say, so right now, this is registering 20 degrees, and that is going to take about, from experience, half hour, 40 minutes to cool down. And right now, it is pulling, what are we going to look there? About 30 watts. So it's going to take about, so it's still got about 5 hours of battery left. Now, this will last more than 5 hours because it's not pulling current all the time. If you've got more food in it and you've got water and beer in it, then this won't be on all the time. Realistic experience has told me I've been able to run this off of that for about 4.5 to 5.5 hours, depending on how hot it is, ambient temperature, and how much stuff that's in it. So yes, it will run a fridge. It's probably not designed to run a fridge all the time, but if you've got solar coming in during the day, it'll probably get you through the best part of the night and keep it just cool till you put your solar back up or turn the engine on just to get a bit more coolness into it. We heard a click. We heard a click. It has gone into keep warm mode. So let's have a look then, shall we? Off you pop. I don't know. That looks all right to me. Maybe a bit dry, but... a little bit dry. But yes. Yes, the Allpowers R600 can power a rice cooker, as I'm doing a bit video and I'm eating food. Well, tell you what, we've done all the tests we're going to do. Let's give a bit of a roundup in conclusion what I think about the R600. Let's close this review out. In my opinion, I see two main scenarios for the Allpowers R600. If you're going away for the weekend and you don't have any solar panel and you're not going to be moving your van, so you're not going to be able to charge it in from the 12-volt adapter and risk rinsing your car battery, I'm going to say if you're a solo, couple, or maybe you've got a child and you're powering low power devices, this will get you through a pretty long weekend. If you have got access to solar, or you're going to be moving your vans and you're driving around so you can keep charging it up, then that opens it up a little bit. You can be charging your high-powered devices in the day, like a fridge, but like I say, only getting it for hours. You can use the rice cooker, you can charge laptops and everything else, and at night, it's just there for a bit of a backup. How you use it is up to you, but I've spent a bit of time trying to formulate my conclusion. The price. £250. There is a link down below. Now, some people will say, well, save the money and make yourself a proper solar setup. But if you're like me, and you haven't got quite a clue what you want to do with your van, but you want to get out and have some adventures, it's a worthwhile investment getting this, provided you, like I say, go with the two scenarios. It's also handy to have as a bit of a backup just in case anyway. You never really want to be relying on one set of power when you're out on the road. So with all that said, I've got to edit this, and there's another video coming out because I'm here in this here Enfield and we're going to a festival. Like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching.